I've got a perfect solution for maybe a top six winger for the Toronto Maple Leafs. As we're doing this show, Aaron Portzline, who covers the Columbus Blue Jackets, alluding to the fact that he thinks Yegor Chinakhov has asked for a trade from the Columbus Blue Jackets. He makes 2.1, one more year left on his deal. RFA next summer. He's 24. This is like Matthias Michelli all over again. And this guy, I think, in my opinion, maybe further along than Michelli, but he proved in Columbus what kind of wow factor he has, what kind of pizzazz. And Chinakhov, I think, is a perfect example. If I'm the Maple Leafs, a guy I'd go after, man. He's got a lot of skill.
Yeah, it's looking that way. I'm pulling his stuff up. 71 points in 175 games. Not bad. I mean, he split time. Last year's full-time nationally. Was he hurt or was he scratched a lot? Only played 30 games the year before. He was in the minors a touch. So interesting. Big Ruski boy, big Russian. Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know a lot about this kid. I'm just looking at him right now, so I don't sit down and watch the Columbus Blue Jackets very often, to be honest with you. But funny when names start to come up that check the boxes: age, term, AAV, abilities. Guys like that are going to start popping up here as we draw closer to camp, and it'll be fun mixing it up with some names and seeing if anyone looks like they could be a fit. Again, what do we have to give up to get something like him? It's a tough question. It depends how bad the situation is where he's sitting.
Yeah, and I guess this is a bit different because he's a former first rounder. I believe he went 21st overall a couple years back, but I watched him quite a bit last year. He got banged up, but he was on a tear before he got banged up. I believe he had 7 goals in like 15 games or 30 games, but 15 points. And I think Columbus obviously doesn't have the star power that, say, the Toronto Maple Leafs do, although I would say the last quarter of the season, they really, really took off, played some excellent hockey, but really like stayed around the float in the conversation at the very least in the Eastern Conference. And again, I think Chinakhov is a perfect example of a player you're identifying if you're the Maple Leafs, because I don't think it'll cost like multiple first rounders and assets and this and that to acquire the player. I think ultimately just because he's asked for a trade here doesn't mean Don Waddell and company have to give it to him. But I think this is sort of the outside the box type approach that Brad Treliving needs to have. And we've seen this throughout the offseason already with the Michelli pickup over in Utah. Like, I know every guest we've had in the last 2 weeks have brought up the name Michelli out of their way to come out and bring up his name, because I think he's a guy who could impress a lot of people considering what he did a couple of years ago. And maybe people think a bounce back's in store of sorts here.
Well, yeah, you know what he's capable of, right? And you run into, as CC says, the worst possible things that could have happened did happen. So you think there's a high ceiling there with this Chinakhov. What the hell? Chinakhov. Like, is he a complete pussy? Like, he's never played in the playoffs. He's got 4 PIMs, 2 PIMs, 6 PIMs, 0 PIMs, 10 PIMs, 0 PIMs in the last, 4 years. Like, is this kid going to absolutely go away when he gets into the playoff games against the Florida Panthers? Like, that's my only question. Like, that's what we're looking for. That's the Everest, is someone going to get better in a playoff series that gets deep? Or is the kid like this going to absolutely fold and say, I did enough for my contract, now I do no more? Like, no thanks to that kind of shit. But I'm not saying that's what he is, but I don't see any reason to say, ooh, there's a guy that's going to get us over the hump in the playoffs.
Plays a heavier brand. I think, to be fair, there's only select amount of players in the league that are playing the way that you want them to play. It's just a fact. I mean, there are not many players left in this league, unfortunately. They're going to, put you through a wall, right? And I think what I've realized watching Chinakhov quite a bit the last couple of years, he does use his frame particularly well. I think build around 6'1", maybe 210. He's a bigger body on the wing, can play multiple position, pretty decent finisher, has a lot of skill, and now it's all about reining it in. Like, I think he's a guy I would take a shot on with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.